Mama's anger echoed across the compound as Ugoma stood tied to a tree, her wrists burning against the ropes. The sun beat mercilessly on her back, but Mama did not care. She accused her stepdaughter of stealing her money, and no amount of pleading from Ugoma could soften her heart. Ugoma's voice trembled as she swore she took nothing. But Namdi, Mama's daughter, boldly claimed she saw her steal it, even though she had seen nothing. Their lies were stronger than Ugoma's truth. So Mama left her tied there, hungry, thirsty, exhausted. Hours passed before Amanda, the only one in that house who treated Ugoma with kindness, quietly approached with a small bottle of water and a piece of bread. She fed her gently, whispering for her to stay strong. But before she could finish, Uncle Nkechi walked in through the gate. Shock washed over his face when he saw the girl, tied up like a criminal. He ordered Amanda to untie her immediately. When Amanda hesitated, afraid of her mother, he untied her himself. Later, after finishing the endless chores Mama piled on her, Ugoma tried to rest. But Namdi approached her, demanding she fill the water drum immediately. Ugoma, exhausted, begged for a moment to breathe, but Namdi threatened that the water was needed that instant. Meanwhile, Uche, whose car had broken down nearby, noticed Ugoma passing with a pot of water. His hands were greasy, and he softly asked if she could spare some water to wash them. She helped him without hesitation. He smiled warmly, telling her he was attending a friend's traditional wedding and hoped he would see her again someday. By the time she finished filling the drum, Ugoma was shaking with hunger and fatigue. She asked for her food, only for Namdi to smirk and tell her she had eaten it herself. She mocked her cruelly, saying, "If you want food, go ask your mother in the grave she's lying in." The words pierced her heart like a spear. Later, Amanda found Ugoma crying behind the house. She comforted her, reminding her she wasn't alone, and brought her packed food. But trouble followed quickly. Namdi found the empty container and hurried to Mama, claiming Ugoma bought the food with stolen money. Before Ugoma could even explain, Mama descended on her with blows. Days later, Ugoma was walking in the village when a car stopped. Uche and his friend, Raymond Uche, saw the sadness in her eyes and tried to help, but she insisted she was fine. He offered to take her home, and she accepted. As the car drove off, Namdi watched every moment rage burned in her chest. She ran home to Mama with poisonous lies, accusing Ugoma of prostitution and claiming she entered the car to sleep with rich men. Mama, furious and determined to protect her family name, decided she must act. Mama invited Mazi, one of the wealthiest and oldest elders in the village, known for his 6 wives but no son. She offered Ugoma to him as a 7th wife, promising that the girl would surely give him the son he had been praying for. Ugoma was horrified, but her cries fell on deaf ears. The village buzzed with excitement as the day of Uchi's friend's traditional wedding arrived. Mama and Namdi dressed in their finest, leaving Ugoma at home. Amanda, however, encouraged her to come. She had just been accepted into university to study law, and she wanted to share the happiness. Since Ugoma had no clothes, Amanda lent her one of her own. At the wedding, Namdi pulled her mother aside angrily, accusing Ugoma of using stolen money to buy new clothes and claiming she was flirting with Uche to steal him from her mama. Swallowing every lie, grew even more furious. The next day, Ugoma returned from the market to find all her clothes burning in the yard. Namdi stood proudly beside the flames, saying she wanted to teach her a lesson for daring to appear in the same place as her at the wedding. Mama declared that from now on, Ugoma would sleep outside. Sickness followed. When Mama found Ugoma resting, burning with fever, she kicked her awake and beat her again, accusing her of using illness as an excuse to avoid chores. She forced her back to work. Before leaving for the city, Uchi visited to say goodbye. Seeing her trembling with fever, he begged her to rest, but she insisted she had to wash clothes or no one else would. He asked for her number so they could talk every day. Meanwhile, Mama had already chosen a husband for Ugoma. When her brothers-in-law heard the name, Mazi, they immediately refused. They vowed never to let their late brother's daughter become the seventh wife of a wicked man. But Mama would not stop. One day, on her way to inform her uncles she had accepted the marriage, Ugoma was kidnapped.